So I want to make a quick video going over the Shun Classic 21-piece knife set. It is essentially the second biggest knife set I think you can get, and the only difference between this and the 34-piece knife set, with the exception of 13 pieces, is that the 13 pieces are all very, very specific, sort of unique type of knives, like for example a ham slicer or a meat cleaver, things that you may or may not really want. So I want to go over exactly what's included in this 21-piece set. Off the bat, I just want to say a quick note that obviously one of the pieces of the set is the knife block, and it's a 22-slot knife block. I don't have that on hand, so I'm just using the 11-slot knife block as a placeholder, but obviously the design of it and all of that stuff is the same. It's just a little bit bigger. It's bamboo. It is very, very high quality. It has the Shun logo branded into the front. So that's that. And let me just grab a random knife, and hopefully it's a good one. That's fine. Just to explain the Shun Classic set and sort of discuss it, and we can go forward from there. So Shun Classic is pretty much the gold standard of high-end knives, one of the gold standards of high-end knives, and I want to discuss exactly why that is. First and foremost, they use VG Max steel. And as you guys probably know, VG10 is considered one of the best metals out there for making knives. It's very hard, it's very resilient, and it holds an edge very well. VG Max takes that to the next level. It's a little bit harder, a little bit more resilient, and it holds an edge a little bit better. 61 hardness. They grind their knives down to a 16-degree angle, which is extremely sharp. So you get really the best of both worlds. You get a very hard knife, a very resilient knife in terms of holding that edge, and you get an edge that is extremely sharp at the same time. They take it one step further. They wrap the knife in 34 layers of stainless steel, which does a couple of things. Number one, you get this gorgeous damascus finish on the blade. But number two, it becomes, again, very resistant to stains, pitting, chips, rust, things like that, just by virtue of having so much stainless steel wrapped around the metal. Forged and handmade in Japan, obviously. Full tang, like all high-end knives, going through this black Packwood handle. And the cool thing about Packwood is that it's actually a compressed wood, so it's, again, very, very resilient, very resistant to water damage, stains, and things like that. And the interesting thing to note is that the handle is actually not symmetrical. It has this extra mass of material here. On a right-handed person, it's meant to fit into your palm and into your knuckles. And on a left-handed person, it's meant to fit right there into the little webbing of your thumb and your palm. Makes it much more ergonomic. All of their knives have a lifetime warranty, like all high-end knives, but the reason that I really like Shun knives in general is because they also come with free sharpening for life. So as you guys know, if you take your knife to a reputable sharpener who does it by hand using whetstones and doesn't just run it through an electric sharpener, it's going to cost you about $5 an inch for a non-serrated knife and about $10 an inch or so for a serrated knife. So for a 9-inch knife like this, that would be roughly $90 just to sharpen this one knife. And even then, you don't really know if they're going to do a good job or not. You know, they might have the best track record in the world, but they might just completely wreck your knife. With Shun, you send it to Shun. First and foremost, they look at the knife. If they see any problems, they throw it out. They give you a brand new knife. But second of all, they actually take the time. They sharpen everything, to the exact same specifications that it was when you first bought it, and they send it back to you for free. You don't need to worry. You don't need to wonder what's going to happen to your knife. You know that it's going to be the exact same knife you purchased years and years prior when you get it back, and it's a no-brainer, I think. So like I said, this is the 10-inch, or 9-inch, I'm sorry, bread knife. We might run out of space, so if we do, I'm very, very sorry. This right here is the 2.5-inch bird's beak paring knife. And you use that not for paring, but rather for decorative cuts and to make things a uniform shape. The 3.25-inch vegetable knife, which you essentially use like a little mini santoku for peeling things and making mincing, fine cuts, julienne, stuff like that. 6-inch utility knife. 3.5-inch paring knife. And that's, by the way, a paring knife, so you hold it like this and use it to peel things. You shouldn't be using it on a cutting board. That's not really what it's meant to do. 7-inch hollow ground or grant and edge, depending on what you call it, santoku knife. And you can see the hollow ground portion right there. That stops food from sticking. Nine-inch slicing knife, and it has the same hollow ground edge to stop food from sticking, so that way you get a nice smooth cut all the way down. 6-inch chef's knife. Six-inch boning and filleting knife, and you use this mainly to trim meats and to cut them down from larger primal cuts. 7-inch vegetable cleaver. It's important to note, it's a vegetable cleaver, not a meat cleaver. You don't use this on meat because it can't handle that. It can't handle bones and things like that. They do make an actual meat cleaver which comes in the bigger set, or you can purchase it separately, and that cleaver is actually meant to go through bone. It uses a different material. This is the 8-inch chef's knife, the workhorse of the kitchen. The carving fork that you use with the slicing knife, and it's actually an amazingly built carving fork, by the way. It's one of my favorite carving forks I've really ever seen, I want to say. You get the combination honing steel that actually matches perfectly. You get my favorite set of kitchen shears in the world by any brand, the Shun kitchen shears, with a boning slot right there, a bone slot, serrations on one end, smooth on the other, completely breakaway. And also, let's see if I can get it back in there, it has this really nice ergonomic support where it fits into your hand perfectly, and a little bottle opener. And then, of course, you get 6, these little guys right here, I'm only going to open up one, but 6 steak knives as well. So that right there is the 21-piece Shun Classic knife block set. I'll put a link down to it below. Like I said, free lifetime warranty, VG Max steel, 34 layers of Damascus clad stainless steel, packwood handle, full tang, forged, handmade in Japan. Let me see if I'm forgetting anything. Oh yeah, and free sharpening for life. So again, I'll put a link down to it below. If you guys have any questions or comments or concerns, as always, let me know. But otherwise, I will speak to you very, very soon.